If anyone comes in the chat and sees this, I'm just going to be setting up some stuff for the next few minutes. Make sure I'm not. Okay. What's up? How's it going? Tom Boyd Hall, how's it going, man? I saw that you're changing your Instagram from more of like a filmstagram to more of like a filmmaker Instagram. That's cool. So like you're really getting into like the films and stuff. I heard you. Didn't you send me you sent me your feature script? I gotta read that actually. I've totally blanked on that. But I gotta read that. I'm excited to read that, actually. I have like 10 different scripts I've been like promised that I'm going to read to different people, and I'm like, I gotta get on that now. What's up? Let's see, I'm gonna start sending out this to everyone. And by everyone, I mean everyone. No, I'm talking about Twitter. Hello there, Squeaks. How's it going? So if you guys have any questions, I directed a new feature film. I haven't really decided on a release strategy and time frame of when it's coming out, but I'm expecting sooner than you would expect. So I'm guessing within the next, probably between now and like early June. So between now and early June, I'm sending out what I would consider to be my fifth feature film. Again, some people, I don't even, a lot of people still haven't even seen Pure Cinema yet, so I'm kind of giving them a little bit of time. I have it close to ready, but I've been just mulling over like how I'm gonna release this, like, and generate hype for it, because it's a little bit different. It's called Watch Me As I Go. And we might go over, I might pull up some images and go over some stuff. So, Watch Me As I Go. It's a romantic, I would say it's a very dry, not dry, what's the word? It's a very naturalistic, mixed with some comedy. But it's a romantic film where me and my wife play strangers who are booked in the same hotel. They are booked in the same hotel, and yeah, that's the one I shot on my trip. Hi, to Purple Sharpie. Are you going to be making a TikTok to promote your work? I do have a TikTok. I'm so bad at TikTok. I'm trying to learn it, but I haven't really made a ton of posts. That's a very good thing you bring that up, actually, because I am actually working on a feature film where it's comprised of TikTok clips. So it's going to be a whole movie just made, it's going to be a horror film made through TikTok clips. So that's a natural way to promote that. I'm still working on that idea, but if we do it right, it's going to be one of the scariest things you're ever going to see, because it's going to feel real. That's the goal, is that it's going to feel like it's just some kids messing around with their phone, and then something, like, I'll take my filmmaking knowledge and technical knowledge and then merge it with the basics of, like, a TikTok stream. So, but the film I'm promoting right now, for anyone who's kind of coming in, is this film called Watch Me As I Go. It's a romantic comedy. I shot it on vacation. I was in Myrtle Beach. And basically, I shot it with my wife. We play strangers who sort of go from strangers to falling in love, because we're booked in the same hotel, and we're sort of forced to hang out with each other. It's a really fun movie, and it was a great time shooting it with my wife. And it was not the first time she's been on set. She's definitely been on set before on other projects, but it was the first time I really felt like Um, I don't know. It felt like just like she was really, really, truly involved. I think she had been involved in other projects, but this was the first time I think really like committed full time to it. So that's pretty cool. Let's see. I'm gonna be just quick, throwing out some links. Okay, let's see. So if you have any questions about it, questions about 12 features, questions about any of the projects that I've kind of announced or I'm talking about, it's going to be going up early. Jared Johnson, dude, you're making feature films like they're shorts, laughing my ass off, just one after another. Yeah, I mean, it's just the way I work, so it's fun. Uh, okay. Got to do some Instagram promotion for this live stream, and then we'll basically get into the questions. So just if you have any questions, but thank you guys for all coming in. This is actually a pretty big amount of viewers for like just starting the stream like 6 minutes ago. So just want to say thanks for everyone coming in. You guys are all really cool. But yeah, I do want to go back to Purple Sharpie's thing. I do want to do a TikTok to like fully promote all my my films. I just trying to get through it. And then Simplified Filming. Hi Dan, how's it going? This was an improv based one, obviously, because I was shooting this during a vacation, so there really was no way to like plan it in my mind. Which is to say, not a good or bad thing, it's just a different thing, you know? It's sort of like, this is what came out, and it was really cool. Also, by the way, I have a new video that came out. It's the first video I've released in 3 weeks. So I'm trying to get to 1,000 views. So if you, it's called, let me just, it's the video right before this one if you go on my stream. It's called Practical Advice on Becoming a Good Filmmaker. If you, either during this stream you get bored, check it out. After the stream, check it out. Just give it a like, comment, whatever you can, that video. I'm trying to get to 1,000 views. Trying to put out more quality content and get more eyes on each video rather than trying to just do volume. So if you guys want to help support the channel, just check out that video. I know not everyone has the time to do that though. How many days of actual production / shooting do you commit to these, given the quick turnaround? So it just depends. For me, I think the quick turnaround, usually it's like a month to 2 months is what my idea is. I mean, again, Pure Cinema was like 1 day, so, because that's what I did for that. This was like a month. For Chlorine, it was 3 months. Sheepeater was 9 months, and then Long Con was like a couple of years. So, trying to whittle that time down and trying to make stuff where I can make volume and quality at the same time, if possible. I know that some people think it's not possible. What film has inspired you the most? The Thing. John Carpenter's The Thing, which is funny because it's not really seen in any of my work, but I love that film. Very well edited, very good cinematography, good story. I'm excited to see what you can shoot in a completely new environment, and Myrtle Beach is an awesome backdrop. Yeah, I've been to Myrtle before, and I loved it, so my wife was like, let's just do a short, and I was like, okay, and I just told her we're doing a short, and then we did a feature. And you have to understand when you make these feature films. Again, this is like an Academy feature film. So, like, the Academy, the Academy, like, the Oscars, defines a feature film as like 40 minutes. So this is like a 40-minute feature film. Like pure cinema was a 40-minute feature film. So it's not like I'm going crazy making like 90-minute films in like a day or like a couple weeks, you know. I could, and my goal is for 12 features to do something more similar to that, where it's more like an 80, 90-minute film each time. And the 12 features, I kind of want to make a video delineating what I'm doing right now in 12 features. This is what I call the Lucy project, Lucy's, like in a rap album, you get like Lucy's like singles that are not like on any album, but like they're more kind of like a mixtape almost. This would almost be like the mixtape of a feature film, where I'm doing stuff, but it's condensed. It's like a 40-minute, like really condensed, but it's not like the main attraction. The main attraction will be 12 features. I'll be doing fully fledged films with like actors and going full in on that. So that's a cool delineation. So these are just projects I'm doing just for fun. So if anyone thinks these are part of 12 features, these are not. These are just their own fun little side thing I'm doing. So if you have any more questions, hit me up. Give me a second. I'm going to try to quick send this to Instagram. So you guys hit me up with those questions. I'll get you back 1 second. I'm having to get this out to Instagram. These are quick though. So okay, one. This is the problem with social media marketing, man. So much time. When are you going to release it? Trailer. Very interested. That's basically where the problems of this film. It's a very, when I say naturalistic, it's very naturalistic. So it's going to be hard to make a trailer. I'm trying to figure that out right as we speak, in terms of like what I want this film to be and like how I want it to be released. So originally I was thinking about doing a Patreon only model where I was going to release it just for patrons, and then you'd have to pay to see it because it's sort of this more intimate sort of film. I was thinking maybe paying for it would make more sense, but then I really feel like that kind of goes against some of my core values right now. So I think I'm going to keep it the way it is, which is basically released for free. My goal is probably to, release it, I'm guessing, in the next 3 weeks. Sometime around there. So probably a trailer first. I'm guessing I'll be able to cut some sort of trailer together. And then we'll see from there. That's my hope. It's going to be fun. I mean, there's some funny stuff in it, too, that I could probably use for the trailer. So it's just going to come down to what I really want to do with this. So I'm really excited though because I get to be in a movie with my wife, which is so much fun. That was cool. So the goal, I guess, is that me and my wife want to do a series of. It was improv. Basically, any movie that comes out really, really fast is probably going to be improv. Budgeting is kind of like, it's weird because each project is different. So like with something like Long Con, which was like a released scripted feature film, that was literally just pulling into my bank account until I knew we had a number in our mind, which was, I think, like 3,000, and we're like, okay, we can't go above that, and we didn't. So that was just paying out every time we needed to, and then knowing that 3,000 was our cap, so we had to stay within our means. Then we broke a window, which made it much harder to keep that 3,000 budget, but we did. So it's just strapping down and knowing what is doable. So for me, that was just using my own personal funds, and I almost went bankrupt. So I haven't even really told. Like, I almost had no money in my account, like, at all when I made Long Con. Like, I literally asked Joel. So Joel was the other producer, and I basically said, dude, I have no money. Like, I have literally no money. Like, can you at least pay for, like, the next month or two? At the time. So when I say, like, I've almost gone broke doing these films, I legit have. And obviously now I'm in a much better place. So a film like Chlorine was only $500 because we knew we couldn't do that 3,000 again, or it would just hurt our accounts very hard. So I was like, let's just do something for $500, keep it simple. And then we made Chlorine, which is our most successful film. So it's not about the money that matters. And then I did Sheepeater for literally $100. I had to buy some cables. I kept breaking the cables because I don't have this little piece that I probably could have spent $5 on. It would have saved me like $100, but I was being stupid. And then Pure Cinema cost nothing, and then this, I guess the trip cost money, but like I don't count the trip was gonna happen regardless of the film. So I only count what I spent on it, and we spent nothing on this film. So this is just the only stuff that it costs is the pre-existing gear. So, I mean, you could say each project of mine is thousands of dollars if you count every piece of gear I've ever owned. But I use it for every project. Thanks. You said I deserve more subs. Thanks, man. I appreciate it. It does feel like sometimes I wish we could get more people to follow this channel, but, you know. It's pretty. I'm pretty happy with how many people are here already, and you know, it's cool. You guys are awesome. This is gonna be great. So improv or scripted. Can you talk about the process of budgeting? I just did. What did you end up doing for audio? Since it was just two, I used one lav mic. The audio is decent on the film, but like if you've seen a film like Joel Haver's Island, I'm probably going to subtitle Elizabeth's lines, or my lines, depending on who had the mic, and subtitle them, just like Island was, so that you can definitely hear each person as clearly. But I'd say the audio, like, I'd say 95% of the time the audio is good, and then there's like 5% where the audio is a little meh. But considering it was shot with one lav mic, that's hard. I will talk about the window breaking story in 1 minute. How active is the community where I live? It's okay. We have some good, really cool people out here, but then there's some people that are just kind of like, all they want to do is Chicago Med, Chicago PD. And those are just like, I don't know if those are shows that are in other places, but Chicago Med is just basically this medical show that everyone and their brother is on the show, and everyone thinks it's this special thing, but it's really not. It's like the show that like everyone is on. Every person in the world has been on this show. So how I broke the window, let me just go into that real quick. Basically, me and Joel were working with our friend Ed. He was our AD, and we basically talked to the homeowner, who is my cousin, like sort of my cousin, and not really, but like I call her my cousin. Basically, we were like, hey, we need to shoot a scene on the rooftop. And she's like, okay, so there's this little piece you need to hold here to go through, or it's going to break the window. It's going to fall and break the window. And we were like super clear. She's like, please do not break it. So I'm like super clear about this. Joel's super clear about this. I'm like, Joel, you and Ed up, go upstairs, start getting set up. I'm going to talk to the actors. So I start talking to the actors. I'm down there, chilling out. And then suddenly, I hear a phone call, and I'm like, okay, I need a phone call. So I start going blah blah blah. I'm talking to Joel, and Joel's like, we just broke the window. I said, ha ha, funny, Joel, funny. And he goes, no, we legit broke the window. I said, what the fuck? Did you just break the window? And he said, I didn't tell Ed that you had to have this piece in there, and Ed didn't put the piece there. I said, well, that's not Ed's fault. That's your fault, Joel. And it was the most stressed day of production because we had to basically go down after 4 minutes ago. We literally just told her we would not break the window. We literally broke the window. I actually thought we were going to I thought she was not going to let us film there. That's how scared I was. Somehow she was very gracious. Obviously, she was gracious because we paid for it. And I remember when we talked about it after, when it wrapped, and we did the viewing party just a few months ago, she was like, I genuinely didn't think you guys were going to pay for the window. And then when you did, that's like when I knew you guys were like legit and were going to be like very cool. Like that you would be willing to pay a $500 window. And the funny thing is that the window ended up being nicer than the window that she had before. So it's like we actually paid for an upgrade. It was kind of like, I don't know, I think our only way of like sort of gaining trust back. So that was the window breaking story. And that cost us, so that was 1/5 of our entire budget was just one window was expended right there. Again, if anyone hasn't seen, I have a new video that is out after literally 3 weeks of not posting. If you haven't seen it, it's called Practical Advice on Becoming a Good Filmmaker. I'm going to quick link it in the chat. Give me a second. I really want everyone, if you can, and if you haven't seen it, even if you've seen it, go back, watch it again. We're trying to get to 1,000 views on this video. Make sure I sent you the right link before I pin it. So please go check it out. Give it a like, comment, share, whatever you can. This is the newest video. We're trying to get to 1,000 views on that video. If you guys can help, like, comment, share, watch it again. You don't have to even watch it. Just put it in the background if you're on your computer and just mute the audio. We're trying to get to 1,000 views. The more videos we get to 1,000 views, the more likely YouTube's going to promote us again. Let's see. Now I'm going to go through a couple more of the questions. Sorry. I'm honestly inspired finishing first draft tomorrow. That's awesome. Sorry to hear that. As a filmmaker trying to balance paying for things, friends, family, it's always tough to balance that. Sorry. Thanks for your insight. No problem at all. Hey, you're doing good, though. 5K subs is not a small number. Oh, no, I'm not suggesting it is either. Like, I totally know that I'm, like, I don't want to seem ungrateful for what I have. Like, 5,000 subscribers on our way to 5,500 is an immense amount of subscribers compared to where I thought we would be pre the Austin McConnell shout out. Like, before Austin McConnell even happened, I never had any expectations of, like, I think my goal was first year get 1,000. And when I say first year, I mean first year I really tried, which was 2019. I was like, let's get to 1,000 subscribers. And we were not even on task to hit that. We were on task to hit about 500 subscribers the first year. And so when we ended up getting, in our first 2 years, about 5,500 subscribers, that's blows past my expectations. So I'm very happy with where I'm at. I mostly use natural lighting, yeah. We are doing a whole behind-the-scenes documentary about the long con, Sheepeater, Chlorine, Pure Cinema, basically all of my catalog of up until this point. We're going to be doing a behind-the-scenes feature film. Dude, you were in Chicago? Milwaukee here. Chicago, jack of all trades if you ever need one. Yeah, just email me at my production email. It's on the main page. And you can send me your cinematography stuff. You never know. We might link up for something. Looking at Backstage in Midwest is like 99% of people have Chicago PD credits. Laugh my ass off, yep. Midwest Filmmakers Unite, folks, should apply to this. I think you'd be great for Disney. Been following the folk filmmaking movement for a minute now. Watched Chlorine last night and loved it. Excited for your next film. Is following your improv format seems like your wheelhouse. Yeah, so I've done two. This will be my third improv. No, fourth really. So there's Chlorine, that's improv. There's Sheepeater, that's improv. Pure Cinema, and then this. Pure Cinema is more of a meta documentary improv, and then this is back to more just straight up improv. No disrespect for them. But it's weird that egos grow because of it. Yeah, I don't know. I was just. This is not against people on Chicago PD. I actually know a lot of good friends that are on PD. It's just. It's not impressive. It's not an impressive credit. It's like saying you were on, I don't know, you're like one of the extras in a movie where there's like literally like a million extras in the background. It's just like being an extra on something, it's not a big deal. In the long con, did the dude stay at the home only for the safe? So in my mind, there's a couple pronged reasons why he stayed. And again, I don't want to get too in depth, but like, because I kind of want to let people think about it. But like, I'll answer what I think about it. So first of all, he's homeless, like legit homeless. He lives on the beach, and his girlfriend at the time, Lily, they're on the rocks because of him stealing. So he really has literally nowhere to go. So instead of freezing his ass off, he stays at the house. He then becomes aware a little bit before that there's a safe. So it's sort of a two-pronged, I can stay here, I can sleep, I have food to eat. I also have the safe. I can try to go for the safe. And then there is a part in the midway where he starts to change his motivations. His motivations are the safe, but there's something more that's motivating him, and I don't want to spoil that for viewers who have not seen it. So everyone go check out The Long Con is basically what I'm trying to say. Dude, yeah, I'm from Wisconsin, and I've been looking for actors too, and that's all I've seen. It's a shame more stuff isn't shot in the Midwest. Definitely a lot of talent out here. Hey, man, what is up? Julian, how's it going? I love that name, by the way. Julian. I was, if I ever had a kid, and it was a boy, we had strongly considered naming it Julian. Obviously, after my favorite singer, Julian Casablancas. So, Julian's a great name. I love meeting other Wisconsin filmmakers. We should connect. Do you have Twitter, Instagram? What's your @? Let's link. See, this is how people get connected here. I was guessing it was called a long con because he's taking his time to get to go for the safe. Yeah, that's kind of part of it, and then that's the long con element. In my opinion, that's the long con that's pitched in the trailer. There's a deeper long con in the film, and if you've seen the film, you know what I'm talking about. Any film recommendations to get my juices flowing for folk filmmaking? Let's see. Let me go to my Letterboxd. Stay on the line. Stay on the line. We're gonna... Okay. If you have Criterion Channel, What Happened Was... ... That's what it's called. What Happened Was. So, literally, What Happened Was... ... It's a film. I just watched it. I love this movie. It's a romantic disagreement film is the best way to describe it. Is two people who go on a date, and they both go on a date and they hate each other, and it's like they're intermingling. It's sad, it's funny, it's hilarious. It's a little bit of everything, and it's a great film. It's a great film. So What Happened Was, I like that. Let me see if there's anything else I can recommend. If you haven't seen another interesting one, Don Siegel's The Killers. That's a pretty good one, especially if you like that more crime style. That was a fun one. It's got John Cassavetes in it. It's got... Who else is in it? Oh, I can't remember. Ronald Reagan is in it. Ronald Reagan is the bad guy. It's super weird watching him play the bad guy. Like... because he's always playing good guys in movies, so... It was really weird seeing him literally like going crazy. Um, but great film, interesting film. I thought it was called The Long Con because the film was never going to get released. Ha ha. Yeah, basically that was what I always joked about. I watched Chlorine in The Long Con with two of my friends, one to two of my friends. That's awesome. Thanks, man, for watching it with other people and sharing the work. Um, it was fun to make it, and I'm just happy that people are out there watching it. So, any questions about the filmmaking process? Any questions about any projects in the future? The watch me as I go. Anything like that? I would love to answer those type of questions. Any questions, really. I'm gonna I'm gonna browse the internet for a second. You guys send me some questions, and then I'll answer some more. Oh, someone's just messaging me. Sorry, I'm getting a message from the interwebs. Let's see if this is something. Spam. Let's see. So, such a noisy chair I have here. I have one of those like wooden IKEA chairs, and they're just really loud. How many features have you guys made? So this will be my number 5. So that'll be Chlorine, Sheepeater, Long Con, Pure Cinema, Watch Me As I Go. So that's 5 films in the course of. That's 5 films from release from 2020 to 2021. Hyped for 12 features, Julian. That's totally agree with you. Speaking of Cassavetes, both Long Con and Chlorine remind me of Gloria and Killing of a Chinese Bookie. Oh my gosh, I'm so glad you said that. I love Killing of a Chinese Bookie. That's a great film. Where do I have that at? Somewhere around here. Let's see if I can find it. It's on here. It's somewhere around here. I have Killing of a Chinese. It's a great film. It's a great film. Are you planning to work in that genre more? I would love to do some more stuff in that genre. What genres do you plan to explore with 12 features? A little bit of everything. Crime specifically is something I'm really excited about. I would love to do a sci-fi. I have a sort of Inherent Vice style mystery type film. Like I said, sci-fi, a little bit of everything. Mikey and Nikki is great too, Scott. Totally agree. But the thing is, it's not Cassavetes directed, so that's where people get confused. It's not. It's a Cassavetes acted, but it's Elaine May. But it feels like a Cassavetes directed film. It's weird. Where do we watch the features? The features are all on my YouTube channel under a playlist. It will be literally called Feature Films. If you literally go to the front page of my YouTube channel, you can literally just see feature films, and 4 of them are watchable. 1 of them is not out yet. So if you want to see them, they are literally on my YouTube channel. You can literally scroll through my YouTube channel and find them. That the titles are Long Con, Sheepeater, Chlorine, Pure Cinema. There is a playlist for them called Feature Films. If you can't find the playlist, just scroll through my uploads. Let's see. I feel both films struggle with the budget feel, when someone is on set at someone's home and the actors are all friends. See, with Chlorine, I can kind of understand what you're saying. in some way. Long Con really doesn't have that because none of us were friends, other than Joel, like and me. So literally, the core crew was all people we just hired. Um, and the house was not like it's my cousin's house, but I don't like go to her house. Like I'm not like we're not like great friends. We're not like hanging out every day of the week. So I feel like the house was just because we love the house, and the actors were just actors. Again, I understand. Hey, Chicken Poop, how's it going, man? I get what you mean though. You need to make a film called Fluoride and set it in the Chlorine's universe. Uh, I am working on Chlorine sequel, so I think I've told people that. That's not a spoiler, is it? No, I'm working on Chlorine too. That's definitely one of the 12 features. Probably the first one I'm gonna film, besides the documentary. What's up, Dan? Man, every stream I'm late to. This is pretty early, actually. It's only 30 minutes in. I'm planning to go for another hour. Sheepland is definitely going to be one of the 12 features. I'm actually working on a scene. Oh, should I spoil it? Should I spoil it? Should I spoil it? Should I spoil it? I've been thinking about doing a scene with a kaiju sheep. Like a giant, giant sheep. Like, kind of like how the first one was. There was that giant sheep at the end. But I'm talking like a kaiju sheep battle. I had an idea for something like that. So maybe that will happen. Maybe that won't. Maybe that's too ambitious. But I had some good ideas for that. I'm from India. How's it going? Chlorine 2, hell yeah. And if anyone wants more details on these films, I have a Patreon where I did a whole live stream explaining literally every idea I'm doing right now in detail. So that Patreon is $1 to subscribe to if you want to know all the background details of all this stuff. Let's see. Hey Dan, I've had a video question for a while. Will you ever make a video about how to make an action film or action on a small budget? Yeah, for the budget, I think that would be a great video. I love doing action scenes. I haven't done them in a while, but I did do a one called Busted 2, which is pretty fun, which is a sequel to a short I did a long time ago when I was a kid. I would love to just do another action scene and then expand upon it with an actual tutorial and stuff on those topics. That would be really fun. Will you use SFX or VFX for the sci-fi feature film? The sci-fi feature film I have is a time travel movie, so it's going to be much more heady than VFX driven, but I'm guessing visual effects, and then just because of the budget is going to be limited, but I would love to use special effects if possible, but I don't think there's going to be too much special effects needed. I think it's more sort of working on it still. Yeah, I mean, again, Patreon is $1, and if you can't find it, it's one of the previous streams. You can scroll through. If you can't find it, just message me and I'll send you the exact stream where I'm talking about literally every idea. Hey Dan, what advice do you give on putting a no-budget feature film together? The simple thing would be give yourself a budget. Say it's $1,000. Look at your wallet and say, how much can I really realistically spend? What's the least amount I can spend and make this not suffer any quality? So if it's $1,000, you have $1,000. And then you need to say, how am I going to spread this money most wisely? In my opinion, people being happy with your ability as a director to keep people organized is a good thing. So you need to be able to spend money on food, transportation, making the actors feel like they're on a safe set in terms of, I'm going to be fed, I'm going to get transportation, and this is going to be complete. So those are the things that I spent most of my budget on all my films. And then if you need to spend money for props or gear, that's when I would probably go raise either money on Kickstarter. If you really need something like a big piece of gear, I would not spend your budget on your gear, though. Have you completed any scripts for the 12 features? No. I am working on it, though. I took a big break because I was really just kind of, if I'm being honest, a little depressed lately. So I took a big break. Again, 12 features is going to be a blend of improv and scripted, so that's not like a big concern of mine because I'm pretty sure half of them are going to be scripted. So that'll be like, I'm not like worried that like, oh no, like people are going to like, I'm not going to write all of them. I'm going to probably write like 5 or 6 scripts, and the rest will be just like Chlorine 2 is not being written. I've decided that Chlorine 2 is going to be produced the same way Chlorine 1 was. So it's just general ideas for that. So that one is done basically in my mind. Like I know exactly the motivation, and I actually, if anyone wants to see on my Patreon, I actually cut a scene with another film, and it's like the ending of Chlorine 2, like what I'm planning on doing with it, and it's really interesting. Chlorine 2 is definitely going to be much more of a Western. In visual representation as well as in just the way the character is portrayed. Will the new format of having Joel being another personality on the channel continue? Love his insight and his down-to-earth attitude. Yeah, Joel is definitely going to be a much bigger part of the channel. He's really busy right now, but I have another video of his ready and queued up to go. So I think I'm going to do is I'm going to do a couple videos of mine just because I hadn't been doing anything for a while. I'm going to do a couple videos of mine, and then I'm going to drop that video of Joel's, and then Joel might do a couple of his, and then we'll kind of flip and flop. I do want Joel to be much more a part of the channel, though. Any advice for a writer who wants to make a no-budget film with almost no prior technical experience, camera, editing, etc.? Get a friend who has technical experience. It would be my biggest thing. I would say work on a bunch of sets. If you're a writer, I would say you try to find a job on a set where you're either lugging crew, you're acting in a low-budget short film, you're recording behind-the-scenes photos, anything that's a very simple job that anyone can get on any production, basically. Look for, like, even just basic short films. Then, when you're on set, look at the cinematographer. If they're making stuff that seems pretty good, go over them and be like, hey, how's it going? Introduce yourself, become friends on Facebook, and then hire that person out for your film. So I would say I would spend 2 to 3 months working on these small projects. And I don't mean like actual days. I just mean like over 2 to 3 months, work on a string of small budget projects. Meet about 10 different cinematographers. After you've met them, find one of them and hire them. Or become good friends enough with them that you don't have to hire them if they just want to work as friends. That would be my start. How I would do it if I didn't have any technical experience. If you want to go the other route where you want to do it all yourself, then I would say buy yourself a cheap DSLR, something that's under $700, something that you can buy in like one sitting. You don't have to like fund it or anything. Learn everything about that camera, everything. Once you've learned that, go out, shoot your film. So I would do like maybe 10 to 15 shorts just to start. If you have no technical experience, just to get an idea of it, shoot vlogs, shoot anything, and then learn that camera technical stuff first. So, but I wouldn't use a phone just because I think phones do limit you a little bit. Let's see. I probably commented this under a different account, but I have completed a parody animation, and I'm going to improve the skills. I become hireable. That's cool. Any advice on rewriting scripts? Put it in a drawer. Take the script, put it in a drawer. Come back in 2 months. Just come back in 2 months. That's all it is. Take that script, whatever you wrote, literally stick it in a drawer. Do not look at it at all. Don't look at it. Put it in a drawer for 2 months. Come back in 2 months. You're going to hate everything you wrote. You will. I guarantee you. You're going to hate everything. You're going to think everything is cringy and stupid. Then start rewriting. Because you will have time to think about it in your head, and then you'll be able to redo it. Because you're going to think in your head, man, that was such a great movie. That was so smart. I was so smart. You stick it in a drawer for 2 months, you come back, you're going to be like, wow, I was a fucking idiot. That's how I did it when I did Long Con. I put it in a drawer, hid it for almost over a year. Came back, was like, what in the world was I writing? Rewrote it. It became the movie we have now. I kind of like Sheepeater better than Chlorine. That's awesome. I mean, again, when people always say like they like one film over the other one in my thing, it's like not an insult because like to me, like I'm like, yeah, I like both. I like them both. Sheepeater's probably my favorite of all my films, but that's just for personal reasons. I think it's the most watchable. But I love all of them for different reasons, and I know people who are super into my crime films. Some people are super into Sheepeater. Some people are into pure cinema, my more naturalistic stuff. So, what we're talking about here is, you know, a lot of different sort of influences that people can like from my work. I tried writing an idea, had the whole thing plotted out, but writing is just a drag. When it becomes a drag, change it up. You have a certain direction it's going. I'd say throw that out of the window and just do something crazy and different. My scripts are hard to write because they're made out of context, YouTube, or audio clips. Yeah. Out of context, YouTube, or audio clips. How do you do something like that? Explain to me. I think I get what you're saying, but I'm trying to understand. The drawer thing is so true. I looked back at old scripts of mine the other day, and they sucked. I have a bunch of scripts I still haven't looked at that are like been maturating for like 3 years. I'm going to come back, watch them, read them, and then be like, holy moly, I was a bad writer. In your last video, you talked about how short films felt like condensed features. I may have the same problem if you consider it as one. Any idea on how to improve upon that? So there's two things. Either A, stop making short films, start making feature films. That's a simple way to solve it, is you don't have to worry about condensed features if they're just features. The second thing I would say is strip things down. Strip things down to the most basic, most bare you can possibly go. So, for me, the problem with a condensed feature short film is like it's like 20 different scenes in 15 minutes. And that never works. I would say if you're going to do a short film, do one scene of that condensed feature film. Do one scene and make that a whole short film. And that's the best way to do it. Personally, I hate doing that still. That's not my thing. It's not my way of doing it. I recommend it as advice because I think other people do like doing that and do think that gives them good experience. But for me, I would much rather just go out and make the feature. But that's just my way of how I write and how I communicate my stories. But what's your thoughts on writing a comedy feature? I would love to at some point. I mean, this film I'm making, it's sort of a romantic comedy. Watch Me As I Go, which I'm going to be releasing soon. Sort of romantic, sort of comedic. But it's not. I didn't write it. But I have. I'm trying to think of have I written any comedic. I did write a. I wrote a. This is actually a good story. My very first script I wrote is basically like a John Hughes style teen film, and I would love to do the teen genre. Like, that is something I'm dying to do. Like a classic. I'm not talking like Project X or anything like that. I'm talking like, I don't know, like John Hughes. Like something that was really classic. And I had this film. It's called The Weekend. And basically it's about this girl who's sort of a shut-in. And her parents are rich. And they're going on a vacation to like the Bahamas or something stupid. So she has the house for the week and the weekend, sort of. Um, and she falls in love with this guy, who's this sort of like punk partier type guy, and they like get into a bunch of hijinks, and some crazy stuff happens, and it's funny, it's dramatic. That was kind of the goal, and I would love to revisit that script from a different perspective now that I'm older. Have you ever had an idea of making a film from multiple perspectives? Like in the film, you follow one person, then once their story ends, you go to another view of the same story. That would be cool, like a Rashomon type thing. Um, I have something that's kind of like that that I'm working on. So basically, it's fan content for YouTubers, and the guy says something like, "Hello, I'll make his character say something in a different context." I guess. Okay, that makes sense. I think I understand what you're saying now. I have a teen movie in me too. Hey, Cody. Cody is actually in my. So Cody has a, brief thing in one of my new movies I'm working on. So, but maybe he's not as Cody. Maybe he's someone else. I have a teen movie in me too. Not sure when I'll get to do it. Hope we get to make ours one day. Yeah, my teen movie might be sooner than later. Um, I haven't thought about that idea in forever, and now that you just whoever reminded me about it, I don't know. That one was it was my very first script I ever wrote, so like it's still emotional for me because it's like that was the one that got me here. That was the very first time I ever put words to paper and was like, I am going to write a movie. It's not good, but if I really, really worked at it, I think I could make something really decent. Again, for anyone who missed out, I made a new video yesterday. Check it out. Link pinned to the top. It's a new video about how to become a good filmmaker. Even if you are a good filmmaker, check it out. Please help me. We're trying to get to at least 1,000 views. I'm trying to get all my videos up to 1,000 views from now on because it takes a decent amount of work to get them out, and I want people to see each video I do. I really want people to get excited about the content on 92 Films. So if you haven't seen it, even if you have seen it, check it out again. Just help us out. We're almost to 600. We're on our way to 600 views. So that would be helpful. I appreciate everyone who's been in this stream. The stream has been fantastic so far. It's been probably one of the best streams I've had in terms of like viewer engagement. So you guys are great. I watched From Dusk Till Dawn the other week. I knew vampires were going to show up and liked the film. I didn't. I don't remember that film too well. It's interesting because it doesn't. It's got Tarantino in it, right? I gotta rewatch that. I watched it with my wife. I think we actually turned it off because we were like, what in the world is going on?" But I probably need to watch it again. I don't think my wife liked it. I think that's why we turned it off. I think she was like, "I don't like this," and I was like, "Okay, put it off." What screenwriting software do you use? I use Shelby. I use Final Draft. I hate Final Draft, but I use Final Draft. I used to have Adobe Story, but Adobe Story decided to crap the bed, I guess. Let me see. If anyone, I'm gonna add this to the. I'm not gonna pin this link, but I'm going to. If anyone wants to follow me just for my filmmaking thoughts, I have a Letterboxd. I'm gonna post right here. Follow me on Letterboxd. Just if you're bored and want to see what I think about movies or anything like that. I wrote a script doing a challenge of writing a script in 3 days. Okay, that's good. The script is about a security guard stopping a school shooting. It was pretty cringe, but I liked it. Hey, man. Just the fact you're getting out there and writing is, like, not... I hate when people say cringe because, like, that's, like, takes effort, man. You gotta think of an idea, put it out there, and you were being raw and vulnerable. You were writing something that it seemed that you were cared about, and even if it was 3 days, you know, that's cool that you were giving yourself a goal, and even if it is cringe. I mean, we've all done ideas that are quote unquote cringe, and what ends up happening is that some of the best ideas come from that kind of same well of thought. So I would not be so down on your work, man. I think that's awesome. I like really respect the fact that you went out and wrote a script in 3 days. That's cool. Struggling to write now. Any advice? Give yourself a number of days you want to get. So let's say it's a 90-page script. So if you do it in, let's say 5 days, how many pages is that a day? Do you need to write? It's like 14. So let's say you need to do 14. That means 5 pages in 14 days. If you tell yourself, I need to write 5 pages every day, no matter what, you will do it. If you truly sit down and do it, and you don't let yourself talk yourself out of writing 5 pages a day. When I used to do, because I did 7 scripts in 1 year, 7 feature film scripts in 1 year. What I would do is I would just give myself a goal. I have to write this in 14 days. And I would write 5 pages every day, no matter what. Even if I fucking hated it. Even if it was the worst script I had ever written. I was like, I'm just going to keep writing. And then you get to the end, and then you're like, oh, it's not that bad. We can work on this. We can tweak this. But if you don't give yourself a goal, and you just say, oh, I want to write a script, and you don't have an actual goal of how many numerical pages you want, you can never really truly, in my opinion, ever hit that without, I don't know. I think you need to be very strict. I come from a family that's we're very goals oriented. I think if you give yourself a goals oriented sort of mindset, if you don't have that, you're going to falter. And I think that's just my perspective on it. Perhaps that's not how everyone else looks at it. I can use Writer Duet because it's free and it's pretty good to use. You got to take risks and make some bad art before you make anything worthwhile. I agree. Thanks, Dan, for the kind words. No problem. Thoughts on the word content? I should use Letterboxd more, Julian. Cool. Great software. I'd recommend. I'd say Final Draft. It's really the only one that I know that's in the game that I know personally, even though I don't like it. But I'm just weird, so I don't know. I actually asked someone else because I don't know what's good software for someone who's new. Personally, I think it's fine. Thoughts on the word content? Lots of filmmakers and artists don't like it, but it doesn't really bug me. It's accurate for the environment. Yeah, I have no problem with content. I've heard a couple of filmmakers, especially in the folk filmmaking space, decry the word content. I have no... It is what it is. It is the world. The world has changed. The world has changed, and we can all be, acting like, content is not the word people use. It shouldn't be the word that people use now, and oh, that's terrible. But I don't really care. I just make films. I make YouTube content. It's a little bit of both. I have no idea what Trelby is, but it seems like a lot of people like Trelby. So, no problem with content. Content is just what it is. The people... Here's how I'll say this, and I don't want to offend anyone when I say this, but if the people who think about that stuff more than just going out and doing it, that is the gap. What I would consider the gap between people who are trying to be successful and who are successful. I think people who overthink stuff to death will always be in that situation where they're gonna be like, what if this is considered content, or what if this is not a feature film? People might say my film Pure Cinema is not a feature film because it's it's content. It's more like a podcast, is what I've heard some critiques of it. But ultimately, at the end of the day, it got 2,000 views. It generated tons of discussion on it. And it was probably one of the more talked about folk films already, just being out for only a couple weeks. So in my opinion, instead of me thinking, oh well, maybe this is content, maybe I shouldn't call this a feature film, and thinking it all through, I just posted it and called it a film. I call my short videos content, and that's how it is. Dan, how's your day going so far? Pretty good. I had some pizza, so that was good. Trying to think. Anything else that happened in my day? No, my day was just kind of like non-eventful. I actually slept in really late today, so I kind of slept in and then woke up and just did this. I was really exhausted actually, so. So any other questions? Let's keep going on the stream. I'm having a good time. I'm gonna do some. I usually do marketing around 3 o'clock, so I'm gonna do some marketing, and then you guys throw in some questions while I'm doing some marketing, if you don't mind. Um. Yeah, analysis by paralysis, or yeah, is the worst thing ever, in my opinion. If you're just thinking about doing stuff and you're not just doing stuff, you're probably just wasting time. Like, people ask me, how can I do 5 features? It's not like I'm sitting here and I'm like some bionic Dan that just the bionic Dan, you know, like just filming all day. It's just I just don't waste time. So like, for me, time wasting is thinking about stuff too deeply. Thinking about stuff like, hey, for me, it's just like, let's just go out and do it. If something is bad, if something doesn't work, people will tell me, you know, and I'll get that analysis and I'll work on the next film. You know. I have not seen Ian Hubert's work. What has he done? Give me some ideas on what he's done. I have not seen that. I don't think I have. Again, if I'm given some names, I might. Again, give me a list of names. I'm gonna start doing some of that marketing. So you guys ask any questions, filmmaking related questions. I'm gonna be back in 30 seconds. I'm just gonna quick write a couple of things, make some posts. Okay. The Bionic Dan would be a great movie. I'd watch that. Bionic Dan should be one of the 12 features. See, this is what happens on live streams. I just birthed out a new idea. Bionic Dan, man. Joel's very much weird about cinematographers. Joel does not like get inspiration from those cinematographers. He's the only cinematographer I know that's like that. Like, he does not care about what other people do. He just does his own thing. For me, I like Deakins. Deakins is solid, man. Deakins, just everything is just great. Oh, wait, I think I might know who Ian Hubert is now. Yeah, Final Draft, Fade In. I might check Fade In. I might look into that, because I think Final Draft is just a terrible software. It's just so hard and complicated to use, and it's not intuitive. I don't know. Maybe it's just the version I have. So, give me 1 second. I'm going to start making those posts, guys. Reach out to me. Give me some comments, some stuff I can talk about. I'm going to make a couple posts. Maybe you guys chat amongst yourselves. Or maybe you make fun of me while I'm doing my marketing. See, I'll talk about marketing while I'm doing this. So sorry if I'm not looking you guys in the eye. Marketing is so critical, and I don't want this to become like the marketing stream, but marketing is such a critical thing, especially for a channel like this where we're very, very small. You need to be able to garner more views, more followers, in a way that, because I think there's a lot of people that believe in the organic sort of like if it's good, people will come, and I don't know if I agree with that, because for every great and organic thing that has built by itself, there's a million other things that are great and organic that never really gain steam unless they're marketed to someone at some level. So I don't think you should become, let's say, like super duper, like making a million posts on every place all the time. But for me, I make like Facebook posts about my films literally every day because it does seem to garner some traction. And over the weekend, I think Long Con got nearly 700 new views just from remarketing. So that is one thing I would suggest if you are new to the game, trying to get better at making films, is you need to think about the post game as well. And for me, the post game is learning how to market and remarket. And when I say remarket, I mean sending your stuff out to the same places more than once. So if you promote on Facebook, come back to that 2 weeks later and do it again. Like, because sometimes some people are on one day and they're not on the next day. You never know. It's like a spider web. The thicker the net, the more likely chance you're going to catch more, bugs. So you need to have that sort of mindset. I know this is not super fun, so I'm going to jump in here and talk to you guys 1 second. I just wanted to get these like 3 more things, then I'm going to do some more of this. Like, what I did this week was literally, I promoted Sheepeater, Chlorine, Long Con, Pure Cinema, all of my films 4 days in a row. And literally each day, I got progressively more views and more subscribers just from doing that. So it's possible to gain a big audience just doing consistent marketing. Okay, I'm back. Who made the art for the Sheepeater thumbnail? His name is Travis Murphy. Travis Murphy. Good, decent personal friend of mine. I said decent as if like I didn't like him. No, I mean like I don't know him like super well, but I know him good enough that he was a cool guy, and I was like, hey, like, you want to do this artwork for Sheepeater? And I paid him a decent amount of money, and then he made it. It's annoying when the quick videos get more views than the multi-month projects. Yeah, I know the feeling. I've seen channels that ride the fame on the backs of children. I feel angry whenever I see a clickbait-filled channel with adults doing stupid stuff marketed to really little kids. Yeah, I understand what you're saying. What is the best... Yeah, I definitely see what you mean there, Chicken Poop. What is the best way to daily motivate yourself to get writing? I think it's just giving yourself a schedule. Giving yourself a schedule every day. A schedule, in my opinion, a routine begets motivation. So if you have a routine, you will get motivated if you keep getting on that routine. But if you don't have a routine, you'll just always be following motivation. And motivation is like a stream. It goes up and it goes down, and I think that's dangerous. That's interesting. I usually promote my stuff the week it comes in on the movie. I'm going to try this new approach. Yeah, I market literally every day. So every day I'm marketing. You've helped me with thumbnails. I'm such a dork with these. Yeah, no problem. That's my mom talking. But yeah, thumbnails are definitely something I've gotten better at. Yeah, Reddit is a good place to post. I would agree. I'm going to keep going, so you guys keep... Any questions about filmmaking? You know what would be cool is if everyone who followed me on Letterboxd did a ranking. I would love to see a ranking of Dan Lott's films on Letterboxd. That would be cool. And if you haven't logged any of my films on Letterboxd, definitely go log them. It would help, like, log them and give them a rating. That would be helpful. Come on. In my opinion, if you aren't marketing every day, you're doing yourself a disservice. And I don't mean like you have to do like a ton of high effort stuff. I mean low effort, like join 1,000 different Facebook groups that are for filmmaking and just making low effort posts. Um, you'd be surprised how many people you will garner just from these low effort, like 30-second. It takes maybe 30 minutes to make all the posts in one day. Like right now, I'm making about 45 posts to do 45 different Facebook groups while we're talking. Um, you never know, because you never know who's gonna scroll upon your film. I posted, like I said, about Long Con, and then 700 new people have seen Long Con this week because I was just posting on Facebook groups because people like the thumbnail of one of the things. So it's not necessarily a guarantee that you're going to get like that level of success on every post. I would say for every 10 days I post, I get one post that goes kind of big. But give me 1 second. Riveting gameplay here. Dan, what do you think? Okay, let's a couple more. What do you think of the idea of making a black and white film that is called? I have made a black and white film before. And I've done it sort of that style. It's a short film I did a while ago, but it's pretty cool. So yeah, I like doing those. I would love to do that again. What is the best way of putting your cast and crew together? Find people from other crews, link up with them, cast them. Go on Backstage, cast people that you need. Offer them a small amount of money, but quality work, and they'll show up. I think changing the thumbnail makes YouTube promote the video again. Yeah, I would agree. I think after a certain amount of time. My ranking of your features: Chlorine, Pure Cinema, Long Con, Sheepeater. Interesting ranking. I like that. I think I'm surprised you put Chlorine last over Pure Cinema, but that's interesting though. I mean, again, I like that there are people with different rankings than mine. I know gear isn't everything, but as a GH5 user, have you heard about the upcoming GH camera? No, I'm not really following their type of stuff. No, I actually have a different short that's on a different channel that I don't think anyone's seen. So not Cinephile. The Cinephile film will be... I had a video idea for maybe 10 minutes of Joel straight dancing to disco. I'll pitch that to Joel in our next feature film that's going to star Joel. I actually want to do a feature film that just stars Joel. So that maybe that's the announcement. I don't even think Joel knows this. Joel is Joel seems to be a fan favorite in the acting department. And it's funny because Joel does not like to act that much. But like it's funny how everyone loves Joel in all these movies. I don't know. It just makes me laugh. Like Joel is what I would call the reluctant actor. Like every time I do it, he's like, "Are you serious? I gotta act again." But he's so good at it, and it's so funny, so we keep making him do it. Okay, I'm almost done with my marketing, and then I will be fully at attention. Give me 1 second. So, almost there. I feel like I've done this one. Let's see. Yeah, we did. Okay. Yeah, no, I'm not, again, Julian, I'm not like, you must like this one better. I just was like, it's just interesting. It really proves the method true, that it's not about the time and money invested to get the enjoyment out of the project. You get what I'm saying? So, like, some people will say, like, oh, man, I've invested 6 years into this project. It's going to be great. And then it's, like, gets okay reception. I think it'd be really funny just to prove, like, hey, it doesn't matter how much time you invest in it. Sometimes the work that people will like the most will be the stuff that you put in the least amount of time. Like, Pure Cinema was literally 1 day of my life. But like, it's crazy that it can be viewed in that same light because of the context, and that's cool. I have not seen their video. Is it a new video? That's a really cool idea to have Joel act solo in a film. I think it'd be a cool idea to see him in a film as a war veteran suffering from PTSD while living alone. That's a good idea. I like that. Just join the Patreon. Okay, let me tell you exactly what video you need to look for. Unless you found it. If you found it, give me 1 second. 1 minute. 1 minute. First of all, thank you for pledging. I actually need to make a new set of posts very soon. But what you will get on here is streams and exclusive. The films will come out early on there as well. So you'll probably get Watch Me As I Go early. Not probably, you will get it early. Let me see. I'm trying to find exactly which stream it is. I think it's this one. Okay, so it's the stream you're looking for is on March 28th. It is called We Are Live, Can You See Us? We Are Live, Can You See Us? Patreon live stream. So it's March 28th. That's the stream that has all the details about all of the projects. The other streams, there's some secret streams as well, and there's some archive streams if you've missed some that from other days. So I've been archiving a lot of the streams. So. What advice are you going to give on writing a sequel of your scripts? I haven't really written a sequel, so I don't know if I can give too much advice. I would just say, don't let the original script. They're different things. Let yourself have different sort of goals with each. Don't let the first film dictate what you can do with the second film. Don't let it limit you. Let me do one more set of posting. So, for that Patreon, you want to follow that March 28th stream, and then probably later tonight, maybe I'll do a secret stream on Patreon. There's also spoilers for Chlorine 2 in terms of the soundtrack, in terms of the end scene, like an idea of what I have for the end scene. And then I'm going to be doing a breakdown this week about Chlorine 2 and like my idea for Chlorine 2, which will contain some spoilers, obviously with warnings and stuff. So, what's cool about the Patreon is that it's a backlog of great stuff that people have not seen. Like, I have an editing masterclass on there, that I don't think anyone has seen other than like maybe 50 people. I did reshare it once, just to get people to see it, but I don't think anyone really saw it. So if just in general, I think it's a great little hub of content. I want to write a book, but the minute I start, I want to drop and do something else. I understand how that is. SCP Short Stories. Hi, everybody. How's it going? Okay. I think that's all I need to do. So I think I did all the marketing I needed to do today. So like right now, just from that marketing I did, 7 new people saw my new video. Not a ton, but do you ever try to make each successful film technically better with my animations? See, I used to be that way. I used to be like, we need to push the technical excellence. You got a lot of same people from the first film. Are you talking about Chlorine? Or for SCP Short Stories, rephrase your question. I think I understand what you're saying. But this isn't the film we're talking about is not a sequel. It's just like its own thing. If that's what you're asking, I'm just rephrase it if that's not what you're asking. But this is a completely original short feature film. What I call micro feature film. So no holdovers from any other film, but it does feature me, obviously, again, and then now my wife is playing the opposite of me. Do you ever try to make each film successfully? Chlorine, my bad. Oh, you're talking about Chlorine 2. Got it. It will feature a lot of the same people, I think. It's all going to depend on... So, there's one actor that will definitely not be available, like, just physically will not be available, which is going to... which will suck. But the Chlorine 2 will feature me as a holdover. There's a minor character from Chlorine that will become a major character in Chlorine 2. That will be a holdover. I'm trying to get the actress who plays the sister to come back. That's, it's probably more complicated than I'm hoping, but if not, I have my own direction I can go with for the second film that doesn't require that. Let's see. But in terms of technical excellence and like getting better with each project, I don't really worry about that anymore. I much more worry about like each film being what I would consider a different film. Like I much more care about a film being different now than I care about it being better in that sense, if that makes any bit of sense. So for me, technical excellence, while is very important, I don't think is as important as just trying to get better at making different, unique works. With limited actors, Dan, what will you do for sequels like Chlorine 2 and Sheepeater 2 and any others you do? Probably bring in new cast members for each film. So Sheepeater 2 will be me, Joel, and one other actor. I think it's going to be 3 actors. Haven't decided who the third guy will be, but I have some ideas. For Chlorine 2, it would be probably a much more expanded cast. So probably different characters, Me, my dad is playing the main villain, so it'll be me, my dad. My brother will be playing my dad in a flashback. His character in a flashback. Probably Anna Dvorak if we can get her for the movie. I'm guessing we will not have access to Jonathan Wyatt because he's not in town. So we won't have Henry's character. He will have to be written out of the film, which is unfortunate, but it's not like I think we could do it without him. I wish I could have had him involved. And then there's going to be another villain who will be like even bigger than what my dad's character would be. So he'd be kind of like the higher up villain. So that's the goal right now. That's like the set of characters we have to play with. So I'm guessing it'll just be casting new people, basically. So that's kind of the goal with these new sequels. And I'm guessing after that, that'll be the end of the sequels I'll do for a while. I probably won't do any more sequels for a little bit. I don't want to become the sequelitis sort of guy, where I'm just doing sequels every day. But those are the two that I'm really excited. Will we see a 92 film cinematic universe? Will Pool Boy show up in Sheepeater? Will other characters from other films show up in different films? Probably not. At the behest of my wife. My wife would love to. Here's what I'll say. This will be a more interesting. This film I'm making, Watch Me As I Go, could feasibly be a prequel to Sheepeater. Is what I'm gonna say. I'm not gonna go crazy and say anything else. But feasibly speaking, Watch Me As I Go could be a prequel to Sheepeater. If you looked at it through the correct, lens. It could even feasibly be a prequel to Chlorine. There's nothing that contradicts it from the other films, and the context of which their characters are could work for both films. I'm not saying that's how I made it intentionally, but I could see people reading it that way if you want to think of it that way. Because there's nothing that contradicts in Watch Me As I Go that contradicts with Sheepeater. And it features Dan and Elizabeth, who are both characters who are in Sheepeater. And I guess Chlorine, it would make less sense. Yeah, it wouldn't really work for Chlorine, never mind. So it would feasibly work for Sheepeater, though, if you had the right mental gymnastics. I'm most excited for Chlorine 2 out of what you've teased so far. What titles are the 12 features? I only remember Chlorine 2, Sheepeater 2, Cinephile, 1995, Chinese Lantern. I don't even remember all the titles. I got so Waste Management's one of them. See, you got me down bad now because I don't remember all the titles of all my films. I'm gonna go to the video that I had it on. So the titles are 1995, Waste Management, Chlorine 2, Sheep Plan, End of the Decade, Folk Filmmakers, Chinese Lantern, Cinephile, Teller, and Delete Machine. Again, I'm just gonna be frank with you. These might not be the films that get made. I might be like, oh yeah, this is what's gonna get made, and then it just switches when things change. Dude, someone's a real G. Someone's a real subscriber when they remember The Complex. Like, when they remember The Complex, that they were there before everyone else was, man. The Complex was that's an OG video, man. So that's how you know someone's legit, in my opinion. I don't know. Whenever someone says The Complex, I always go, yeah, The Complex. So, if you don't know what The Complex is, now you gotta find the video. I'm not gonna tell you which one it is. You just gotta keep looking through our catalog of videos. Do you use gimbals? Sometimes. Yes. So, for chlorine. We used gimbal in one of the opening scenes with Kenny, the other hitman. And then what else did we do for Long Con? There is a gimbal used. Delete Machine is the TikTok movie I'm doing. So Delete Machine is a movie I'm doing on TikTok, which, give me a second. Where is TikTok? Give me a second. I actually, sorry, my nose is like itching me like crazy. Okay. Delete Machine. You can follow me on TikTok. There's already a TikTok out. So if you have TikTok, follow me on there. Things are going to be going crazy on there. I'm not going to be doing a lot of promotion for Delete Machine because I want it to be organic. So I want it to like grow on its own thing. So it probably the only feature of the 12 features that doesn't really get posted here until it's all done. And then, you know, it'll become its own thing. So that's kind of cool. I also intend on doing, TikTok movie passes out. Yeah. So it's basically a horror film. It's a horror film done through TikTok. So I've always wanted to play with the short format. I've always wanted to play with the short format of TikTok. And we're not talking like... my goal is basically to do cinematic TikToks, which I don't think anyone has really ever done. My goal is to make this as cinematic and as interesting as possible. And the goal is to be... I don't use TikTok. I have trust issues with the app, but maybe. Yeah, again, I understand. It's not going to be for everyone. This is not going to be, like, my most... it's an experiment. It's a TikTok horror film, and the idea is that it's going to be following me and Joel as main characters in this horror film. And, I don't know, I think, get Joel to do a TikTok dance during... We just found a ghost. Do. But, and I believe TikTok, you can upload videos recorded from your camera, if I'm correct, if you format them the correct way. So the idea would be we also would use our real cameras and film and then distribute it. What's cool about it is that it's going to become an ARG. It's going to be interactive. You're going to be able to interact with this feature film. It's not going to be made all in one swath. It's going to be made in bite-sized pieces that the audience can interact with if they want to. And if they don't interact with it, it will just go on as its own thing. But if they do interact with it, things might change the story. So, like, think Marble Hornets. If you've ever seen Marble Hornets, you know what I'm talking about. Marble Hornets is like I would say the peak sort of like inspiration for this. So that would be my suggestion is to find out, watch Marble Hornets. You like Marble Hornets, you'll like this. It's going to be very similar. But I think I want it to be more of a story than Marble Hornets. I want it to be more of like we're actually following characters and there's motivations and stuff like that. And again, it might be difficult to do this in a TikTok format. I don't know. We might never even do this. Yeah, I think TikTok has the potential to go extremely viral with an idea like this. And so I think that there's no reason for me not to try the TikTok. Marble Hornets is so classic. Yeah, I know. Like, people who know, man. Marble Hornets was like the shit, dude. When will we get the black and white werewolf movie where you are directing, Joel starring, written by Robert Rodriguez? Man, I wish. I wish, man. Robert Rodriguez got me down bad, man. Hey there. Just came home drunk from the pub. First night, pub night since COVID. How you doing? Friggin', that sounds great, man. Having some fun at the pub. I'm doing great. I actually went out to a restaurant the other night, and I mean, I've gone out a couple times, but like it was like the first time that I've gone back, and it was like there was like everyone was out, so I can relate, man. I can relate. I watched Marble Hornets as a kid and definitely thought it was real. Yeah, same here. It was creepy, man. That's awesome, though. You know, it's fun to get out of the house, go to the pub. You know, sometimes you just need to chill out a little bit. I know I do sometimes. What would you do for creature special effects on a low budget? For this film, I'm guessing it'll be a mixture of practical and digital manipulation. Like I said, I would probably be using my camera and then distributing it through TikTok, and then also using the phone for certain scenes for more have you gotten COVID, Dan? Has Joel? Joel has not. I am not so sure about me. I actually recently felt extremely sick. I didn't really post anything about it, but and my wife was extremely sick. But we don't know if it was COVID. We're fine now, so no big deal. We never had any of the symptoms of COVID in terms of like the taste or anything, so I don't think it was. But also at the beginning of COVID, I felt deathly sick, and I like laid in my bed for like 2 weeks straight. So that could have been it too. But I haven't like officially gotten COVID. I've never gotten a test that was like, you have COVID, so I don't know. Again, other than that, it's just speculation. I have not gotten COVID though, like officially. I don't even really know anyone who has gotten COVID officially, other than I'm trying to think. A lot like friends and friends, like friend. No, wait. One of my friends, Nathan, got COVID. Lonely Girl 15, yeah. I would. Could you taste or smell? This week I could, so that's why I didn't think it was. Back at the beginning of the thing, I could not taste, but I could smell. So I think that I might have gotten it at the very beginning. I don't know for sure. Getting vaccinated Monday. Good for you, man. But yeah, everything is all good. I feel pretty good with all that stuff. I've been very. If you saw Sheepeater, I mean, again, for the first 9 months of COVID, I basically stayed in my house the whole time, other than like going out to like there's like a little pool area out here that I have, but it's like it's so distanced for everyone. You can literally just sit there by yourself. So like I literally just chilled out for the first pretty much 9 months and did nothing at all. So, Dan, when will we get into the YouTube boxing trend and box someone? I actually have a. That sucks. I'm sorry to hear about that, Alex. Hope he's okay. When will I get into the boxing trend and box someone from another folk? When will I box another folk filmmaker? Who do you think who's my equal? I'm a huge guy, dude. I'm big. You can't take me down. You can't stop this, even if you wanted to. I am throwing down the gauntlet. I'm gonna beat Cody Clark in a fight. Cody doesn't stand a chance. No, I need someone who's like my size who can like take me on, man. Because I would destroy Cody. This is so stupid. Yeah, I would love to box one of the folk filmmakers if they want to do it for. We'll put a bunch of money in the pot, like $500, and then whoever does it gets to use that money to make their next feature film. Caleb Robinson, that might be funny. Me and Caleb. Yeah. Yeah, that would be hilarious. Mike from Red Letter Media. Dude, me and Mike, dude, I would be scared, man. Mike might stab me or something in the middle of the match. But yeah, I think in the folk filmmaking class, I think I pretty much outweigh everyone in the folk filmmaking class. So I think I'd destroy anyone. I think it'd be pretty hard to take me down. But maybe I'm just overestimating. Don't hurt the seniors at Harlem. Um, but join them for a uh, yes, that would be amazing. Have you seen Space Cop? I have not, but I've been meaning to. Space Cop. Rich Evans, I have my colostomy bag. Oh my gosh! I love those guys, man. I love doing their voices. They're so stupid. So funny. Yeah, he has old drunk man strength. Yeah, exactly. There's a rule. If there's someone who's like above like 40, 35, 40, you just don't fuck with them because you don't know. They might have dad strength. Yeah, Space Cop was awesome and horrible, pure RLM. I gotta check it out. It looks pretty bad, but like in the fun sort of bad way, not in the bad sort of bad way. What will you do if none of your actors can film on any of the 12 features? Find other actors. So find other actors. I mean, again, I would. I'm not so like married to the people that I've worked with before. You know what I mean? Like I'm not like I don't have other than a few projects. I don't have like any of them booked for any of like the projects. So like it's not like I'm like, oh my gosh, if Anna doesn't work in all these movies, what am I gonna do? It's like I have a new set of people that I'm eyeing for. Like I have other actor friends that I would love to work with in other projects. So my goal is to hopefully expand that. I want to have, by the end of the 12 features, I want to have a network of actors that I feel are qualified to be in 92 films. Again, like this one I did with my wife, now, okay, I view her as being potentially someone I would put in any kind of movie if I felt like she fit, now that she wants to do, acting. So it just comes down to, being aware. Oh, sorry. Yawning. And it also comes down to like with all the stuff in the world going on, it just all depends on who's going to be available and like wants to be. Like some people are still gonna want to like kind of like keep things low profile until everything kind of officially rolls over. So we'll see who. When will we move? When will you move out to New Mexico and make Chlorine 5 about pool boy crossing the border to find the perfect pool net? These ideas, chicken poop. These ideas. Chlorine 5, man. Maybe we'll go Albuquerque, New Mexico, and start making it a. Maybe I'll become part of the Breaking Bad universe. Plinkett has a character in my animation called Dark Plinketus. That sounds cool. Does anyone remember Chad Vader? Does anyone remember that? This little like web series back in the day. It's called Chad Vader, and it was like kind of like, I don't know how to describe it. It's like I don't know. It was like a comedy show, but it was like set in a retail place, but instead of a retail manager, not the manager, he's one of the retail employees. One of the retail employees is Darth Vader. Yeah, I've seen some of his early shorts. I actually knew who he was before, so I was aware of his Lights Out short before he became successful. Like, even before I think it was, like, that big. I remember seeing it and being like, this is really cool. And then he, like, ended up becoming this huge. So, I was on YouTube for a while now, so I definitely was, like, aware of who he was before. And then when he became successful, I was like, oh, that's crazy. I've never seen Lights Out, the feature film, though. I have seen the short, though. Chad Vader, man. Chad Vader was just one of those, man. We're just going through all of the Dan favorite classic YouTube shows. So here's, okay, in my opinion, the canon of classic shows that are on YouTube. Marble Hornets, Chad Vader, Video Game High School. Video Game High School probably being my favorite YouTube show of all time. I think that was great. Any other great YouTube shows? There was this really interesting one about cults, but I can't find it anymore. But yeah, Chad Vader, Video Game High School, Marble Hornets. Those are like the trilogy of great shows on YouTube. I was actually thinking how Video Game High School is probably the reason why I post films on free on YouTube. Because like Video Game High School, they posted, as much as they raised like hundreds of thousands of dollars, they still posted those all for free, and they still to this day are free on YouTube, which just shocks me. Even though at one point they were on Netflix, I think Video Game High School at one point was on Netflix, they still kept them on YouTube, which is crazy. I feel like I'm going down the rabbit hole. Anyone want to talk about more movie stuff? I feel like I've alienated everyone. I'm starting to talk about stuff that is like from my childhood. Video Game High School, man. It was the jam. Yeah, season 2 and season 3 were where it was at. Like season 1 was good, but it had its flaws. But season 2 and season 3 were like way better. Oh man. The Video Game High School though. Spill the beans on the Cinephiles idea. Tell us everything you know. Well, on Patreon... No, I'll tell you guys a little bit. So basically, the Cinephile idea... If you've seen the Cinephile short, watch it first before I start spoiling things. I mean, I'm going to give you like 30 seconds to go watch it. No, just... I'll tell you. So basically, I made a short film about a guy who makes tapes of people he murders, and he's a cinephile, and he records his own movies of murdering people. And that was just like an interesting short idea. Well, I have a feature film where basically it's about two brothers, and there's an older brother, and I'm eyeing for the older brother, Charles Johnston, who played Carl in Long Con. He'd be the older brother, and he's basically a murdering psychopath who likes to film people when they die. And he does this. This is his thing, and he takes care of his younger brother. So him and his younger brother live in an apartment together, and basically he starts teaching his younger brother. So his younger brother will be probably like, so Charles is like probably in his 30s. This guy will be probably in his 20s. Potentially played by the same guy that played the Cinefile character in the short, if I can get him. And basically they're brothers. They take care. He sort of takes care of him, and he teaches him how to start killing people and filming it. But what ends up happening is he's, the younger brother's interested, but he's not so sure if it's the right thing to do. But he starts falling in love with this girl, and then the older brother gets the idea to kill that girl that he falls in love with, and so there's this strained relationship between the two brothers, and they're both kind of psychopathic murderers. And really, it's like you're rooting for like the lesser psychopathic killer, is the kind of the idea. What's the timeline on the Dan Lotz cinematic universe? There's not really a timeline. I wish there was, but they're all kind of just jumbled around. What was it like meeting Austin McConnell? That's a good question. Austin McConnell was fun. It was fun to talk to him. I mean, he came by, so we picked him up. It was really stressful picking him up because when he got here, he came in the wrong entrance at the. He went out the wrong entrance, or told us he was at the wrong entrance. When we picked him up at the airports, we were like, sort of like, what is going on? Where is he? And we thought like we had lost him. We could barely hear him too on the phone. So we picked him up. Then after we picked him up, we were sort of like, okay, this is cool. We started talking to him. I mean, again, he's just like he is in his videos. Maybe a little bit more quiet, but like really cool. That's Anna Dvorak, by the way. So what if the girl from Cinephile falls in the same... So that's the same girl that plays... So that's Anna Dvorak from Long Con and Chlorine. So if you've seen those, yeah. Austin is how I found out about you. Prefer your approach, though. Yeah, Austin's a really cool guy. Again, I can never be thankful enough for the work that he did to get me out there, And he's like an OG, man. He's really cool because, like, he still watches my films, dude. Like, I still send him stuff, and he'll still respond and be like, yo, watching Long Con. So, to say, like, all I have to say is he's, like, a cool guy. He's a great creator, and I think that, like, I'm thankful that he was willing to take a risk on someone like me who had literally no proof that I was talented or good. He took a risk on me, and then, now we're much more successful for it. I would love, maybe this is stupid to say, but I would love, man, to do a follow-up. And I know, obviously, everyone would be like, yeah, of course you do, But I would love to do a follow-up, like, next year, after the 12 features, and I've done all these feature films, and be like, hey, here's where I was when I first met you. Here's where I am now. I think it would be a crazy, interesting video. Or maybe something on the folk filmmaking movement in general. I've been thinking about pitching him a video about the folk filmmaking movement. That might be a cool... Recently, he actually watched a podcast with Joel. Joel was on a podcast with Cody Clark, and he like commented and was like, yeah, I love this video. And we were like, what? It was funny. So, but he's a really cool guy. I think that another video between me, him, and Joel would be like just so cool. And the funny thing is that when I went to Austin McConnell, he asked me, was like, oh, is there any creators you know about that would be great to shout out or like talk about in the future? And I went through a couple of obscure creators, and I was like, there's this guy named Joel Haver. he's gonna be big. Like, he's gonna be pretty big, I think. And he was like, cool. And I sent him his link, and I don't think he ever did anything with it. And now Joel Haver is like on the level of size that Austin is. It's just so cool that I told him about a creator way before that creator ever like hit it big, and then suddenly that creator hit it big, and then it was just kind of cool. But I remember that was like one of, I think, only 2 or 3 people I told him about, and I was like, yeah, this guy is really, really gonna be a big thing. So, and Austin has since watched a bunch of Joel Haver videos. I've seen him comment on a bunch. So that's just kind of crazy to think that like it all happened the way it happened. Have you thought of making Star Wars style posters with a lot of faces and such? I do have one poster that's like that for a short film I did. But maybe in the future. That would be kind of fun. Wax on, wax off. Wax on, wax off. I just gotta stretch my arms. Gotta jump out. We'll catch video later. Keep up the good work. Have lots of love for folk filmmaking and all the best for from Austria. Well, thanks, man. Cheers. Have a good one. Sleep well. Hopefully the bar didn't knock you out, man. Have a good one. Dan, how many of the 12 features will you be the star of? Will you mainly stay behind the camera, or you want to be in front of the camera? I think it's going to be a split 50-50. I think if I want to get the project done, I'm going to have to star in some of these. Obviously, Chlorine 2. Obviously, Sheepeater 2. So at least 2. There's one film in there I literally physically can't... Oh, no, wait. I actually will be in it. So there's 3 films that I'm guaranteed I have to be in. The documentary will be with me, so that'll be 4. Let me just look at the list of what we have. I'll tell you out of how many of those films I'm either going to star or be in. Let's see. Give me 1 minute. Okay. So I need to be in this, but I'm not going to be... So this one I will be in, but not be the star. This one I want to be in. Want to be in. Want to be in. Don't 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 want to be in, but might have to be. Probably going to be in. So I'd say probably half the films. Yeah, probably half the films. I'm like 6 or 7 of the films I'm going to be in or star in. Not all of them I'm going to star in, though. Thoughts on DaVinci Resolve? It's okay. I like it. It's just not the system for me right now. You know, not saying it's bad. It's just not like what works for me. I imagine that it is much more powerful than Adobe for color grading, but I'm not going to try to work with a system that I'm just not intuitive with right now. Adobe just works for me, so I see no reason to switch from Adobe if Adobe's just going to be what works for me best. So I was thinking for the hat for Chlorine 2. This would be the hat for Chlorine 2. So I had the hat from last film. I thought it would be kind of different to use a different hat for the next film. So the first one was the one with the eagle on top, and this one's the American. United States map. Just through Spotify, really. Just finding stuff on Spotify and then using it. So, does anyone have any questions about anything film related? Anything related to the creation of a new film? Nice Chlorine 2 hat, yeah. This is the hat, I bought it a while ago, and I don't know. It feels perfectly right for Chlorine 2. Will I shave for any... I don't feel like I look good while I shave. Like, for character. I feel like the beard always kind of, like, makes me look, like, sort of more rugged. So, perhaps, maybe, but I don't know. I think I shaved my face for Long Con. So I think Long Con, I don't have a beard. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I do have a beard. I don't remember. Let's see. I play the security guard in Long Con. Let's see. Do I have like a small beard. Okay. I have a small beard in Long Con. I couldn't remember if I did or I didn't. Gonna hop out, need a shower, have a good one. Peace out. Hey, would you say the games are a good way to test a certain scene for your script, especially if that game is open world and has location? Yeah, I mean, if you're talking about like framing and like giving ideas for stuff, yeah, I see no reason why not to do something like that. It's almost like storyboarding. You would look a lot younger when you shave. I think you look half your age when you shave and put on glasses. Will you put your glasses on with your beard? I mean, I could do it right now. Give me a second. I just take my glasses off for stream just so I don't... So there you go. If you want me to put my glasses on with my beard. Here you go. I'll use Gmod maps for animation and play them to see if they work. That's a cool idea. Yeah, I've heard of people doing stuff like that, using games to like kind of come up with ideas and shots. It's a fun way to do it. Yeah, it's just a different look. I look like Dan, glasses and beards makes you look like a young Santa Claus. That's funny, man. That's funny. You look cool with your glasses on. Thank you. I appreciate it. It's just a different look. And I probably look even better, different, like without the hat. The hat's kind of making me look different too. And then I could, you know. Now I look like some crazy. My hair's all looking crazy right now. We have 6 viewers in the chat. Who is around? Who is watching? So, any other question, guys? I feel like the stream's kind of slowly but surely dying. Any more questions? I want to kind of re-energize for this last bit. I have probably like 20 minutes left in me before I'm going to get off. So if anyone has any questions, it'd be time to start laying down those before we end the stream. Dan, will you go bald? I think I have a decent hairline. I don't think so. Unfortunately, I'm going to go bald in 10 or so years, hopefully 20 years. Yeah, my dad does not. My dad nor my mom has any sort of hair or problems. So my dad is probably what 50 something, and he still has his hair. It's not like a ton, but like he's got like I would say like enough that I would not consider myself to be going bald anytime soon. Would your GTA could be a would you say GTA could be a good game to frame scenes? Yeah, definitely. What is the idea for Chinese Lantern? That one's a little bit more personal. I do want to keep that one secret for now. That's it is on the Patreon. But I don't know. That one's a little bit more. I'm still a little secretive about what that's going to be about. But I will say it's a road trip. Lucky Dan still has hair. Yeah. Again, that's why I grew my hair out super long. Because it was like, how many people get to do that? Like, so I grew out my hair super long, then I trimmed it, and, I love the super long hair. I would love to do it again, but it's not, it's not on the cards. It doesn't seem like the wife likes it, so I'm not gonna fight it. So, for me, I don't think I'm going bald. I don't think I'll ever probably go bald, at least until I'm an old man or something like that. And then will be when Chlorine 25 will come out. You know what I want to do? I want to play a movie where I play a serial killer. I was thinking about that. I was outside smoking a cigar, and I was thinking that would be so much fun to be a movie where I play a serial killer. I feel like I could do it really well. So, I was thinking about writing like a serial killer sort of storyline, either writing it or just doing it, like doing improv. So I've been thinking about doing something about that. So that might be one of the other features in the 12 features that I might do. I haven't really decided yet. Maybe do it as like a series, like a trilogy. So like one film now, one film 5 years from now, one film 10 years from now, something like that. Kind of like progression of serial killer. That'd be kind of a cool storyline. What's the last movie? What happened was. What happened was. Yeah, Joel could be the detective. I had a really great idea for a movie involving me being a killer that I just physically can't do now because there were certain things that I was going to be able to do that I can't do now. That it's like it kills my soul that I can't do this movie. It was going to be called The Father. And basically, this is hard to even talk about. Um, so before my wife and I had our child had the miscarriage, I was going to make a film documenting. I was going to make a film documenting not only our child growing up, but building it around a fictional narrative. So it was going to be a film taking place over 20 years. So I film the baby growing up, but then there's the character of me, and I'm like this like mob guy, and it'd be called The Father, and I play it now when I'm 20 whatever, and then it would be like until I'm like 40, and I film the whole movie, either A, drip drop it in parts, or film it in just one whole thing and then just put it out 20 years from now. And I had this amazing idea, and it just, I built a bunch of stuff and got all the stuff ready for it, and it just didn't. Obviously, it's not going to happen, but I don't know. So that was man. That's one of those ideas. I just not only was it going to be something cool to like document that, but it was also going to be cool just to make the film. So I don't know. Still kind of sad about that one. What if the story about serial killing being hunted down by a gang of ruthless drug dealers, like the serial killer was killing all the customers? That could be interesting. I like that. Sorry I got dark there for a second there. But that was just, man, that would have been a surreal experience. I guess things just changed though, you know? Like, it would have just, the level of creativity I guess I'm able to do, you know, right now is just a direct result of not having any sort of things keeping me from doing stuff. So if you know, yeah, it sucks. It's tough to talk about, but yeah, I don't know. I don't really know how else to say it, but it just sucks. But yeah. Well, maybe we'll just transition off this topic just because. What are your plans for the future, like after 12 features? Probably gonna take a big break, a hiatus for a little bit. Not necessarily of YouTube, but like feature filmmaking. I mean, if I make 12 features, and I've already made 2 features that are not even a part of the 12 features, Pure Cinema and this Watch Me As I Go, that means I'll have made 14 films between, 14 plus Long Con. So there's going to be 12 features, the 2, so that's 14, plus the other 3, so that's 17. I'll have made 17 feature films at that point. So 17 feature films, that's like a great spot where I might take a big break, like maybe like a year break, just to like just do YouTube, just kind of recatalog my work, get it out to people, and then like maybe take a year break and then come back and then do it again, like do either another 12 features or maybe do a feature film that's much more expansive. Yeah. I've been heavily considering doing like what I would consider, hey Zach, how's it going? I've been heavily considering doing what I would consider to be sorry, I'm trying to think of the word. I want to do a feature what I would consider not a legit, like not that these aren't legit features, but I want to do it like the legit way, like getting like a huge camera, getting like a budget of like 20 grand. So I might do a Kickstarter for one of my features going down the line after 12 features. Maybe I'll have proven myself worthy of having like the big gear. I am actually talking with a producer who does have an Alexa, so maybe, or yeah, I think Alexa. So maybe there's something in the cards that will be cheaper than just shelling out 20 grand. So, I don't know. What did you miss? Basically, we talked about my new movie, Watch Me As I Go, which is coming out next month. It is a romantic comedy shot in Myrtle Beach with me and my wife. It's heavy on the naturalism, heavy on I don't know. It's just like a really, really fun film that we made while we were in Myrtle Beach, having a great time. Do you have a big team for the 12 features? No, I don't really. Joel would probably have to learn how to use it, but I mean, Joel's smart. No, this would be. Chicken Poop was asking me post like 12 features. This would probably be post 12 features, or maybe the last of 12 features. But right now, my goal is, Myrtle Beach. So. No, this film is not a part of the 12 features. No. If you're talking about Watch Me As I Go, if we're talking about the Alexa film, that will probably also not be a part of the 12 features. It'll probably be something post. But Watch Me As I Go, which we'll be releasing next month, is just for fun. Like Pure Cinema was just for fun. Neither of those were 12 features. They were just doing it for fun. Ooh, pandemic-based body horror that you might like. That sounds kind of cool. I don't really have a big team for 12 features. Don't really need a big team for 12 features because I just know how I work. But I'm always willing to bring people along, if they want to be brought along for the ride. I'm very, very personal with who I want. Like, I have people I want to be involved, and I really want them involved. And so, like, I try not to have too much excess. Because the more people you bring on set, the more mouths you have to feed, more people you have to transport. You have to be very particular with who you want. And if you have... I would rather take 2 solid guys than 20 people who are, like, all okay at what they do. So, for me, finding those solid people is what you need in order to really, truly get the wheels turning. Churning and burning, basically. If you want to see this film early, watch me as I go. $1 subscription on Patreon. My goal is to drop it on Patreon maybe a whole 2 or 3 weeks early so that people get some real time to like watch it before the general audience does. So, I really wish more people would take me up on the Patreon thing just because I think A, it's a cool way to distribute my movies early, and B, it's a way to kind of like talk about the process before everyone else has seen it. So, that's something I'm going to be doing probably with this new feature film. Trying to test a new model out just because I do need to be able to make money doing this YouTube stuff eventually. So, trying to find out ways to sort of generate interest in potentially buying a film of mine. I don't want to go through Amazon because Amazon sucks. But it would be much easier if I could do it through something like a Patreon. Will I buy a pistol with a suppressor for one of the films? Perhaps. I don't know. I'm not really. You mean like buy a real gun? No, but like for maybe like a BB gun that has a fake suppressor on it, perhaps. Hallucinates his body falling apart around him because of in real gruesome ways. I want to shoot it vertical, 16 by 9. That sounds cool. I like it. I think you mean 9 by 16, right? Or am I crazy? 16 by 9 is horizontal. 19 by 16 is vertical, I think. Like, kind of like how Jordan and Ethan shot theirs. Give me a second, I gotta read my email. But yeah, 12 features will be coming up very soon, so we're getting there. We're getting excited about producing all this work. I think it's gonna be. I have a huge announcement that I'm like sitting on. Like I just can't say anything, but I'm sitting on this huge announcement that we're gonna be doing very, 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 very soon. And it's like I've been sitting on it for probably like 2 months now. Just slowly getting all the details ironed out. Will you ever make a creature feature film? I mean, I feel like Sheepeater's kind of a creature feature. If I could do anything more creature feature than that, yeah, sure. I wish I could get your Patreon, but my parents are weird about paying for stuff online outside of Amazon. Like, Amazon is 100% reliable. That's kind of funny. Like, I was like, it's annoying, but yeah, Amazon. Yeah, man, it sucks. I'm sorry about that. Yeah, if we end up needing anyone extra for any of these films, we will definitely call upon you, Zachary. Yeah, huge folk filmmaking announcement coming. I want to say this Monday or Thursday or Wednesday. So you're gonna see a huge folk filmmaking announcement like in a matter of days. Um, depending on who shows up, it might be smaller or bigger than I'm thinking it is. But right now, of who we have ready for this idea that we're doing, it's gonna be cool. It's gonna be big. So I'm excited. Yes, just send it to my 92 film productions at Gmail. The script and I'll read it. Fan cameo. Will there be fan cameos in 12 features? Now that would be a cool perk to do for Patreon. Like, donate $50, you get to be in a fan cameo or something. There might be. I'm trying to think of anything. Is there any fan cameos? There's definitely going to be other folk filmmakers in some of these 12 features, I guarantee you that. I know there's another folk filmmaker who's already in Watch Me As I Go. Even though it was a movie just shot on my vacation, this person did lend voice talent to my film. So, to say, we do have other people being involved. My goal is to get other people involved in these 12 features for sure. Hey Dan, how's it going? Excited for the announcement. Yes, new feature film coming out next month. Will be coming out early on YouTube or on Patreon if you're subscribed, $1. I might be bringing that up to $5 for anyone who doesn't subscribe in the next couple weeks. So if basically I was thinking offering the film for $1 and then when I announce it offering it for $5 for like late game people who just came into it late. So that's what I'm kind of thinking is basically dropping it for free, or not dropping it for $1 on my Patreon, letting everyone on that $1 Patreon who wants to watch it, and then dropping it for $5 for everyone else who didn't get to it early bird special sort of. Wow, this stream's been going on for an hour and 18 minutes. Yeah, I actually probably can keep going for a little bit longer. I just gotta wake my wife up at around 5:30 because she's going to work soon. So she works night shift, so I gotta wake her up. I think it's just because her phone is dead today. It was dead or something. But I usually only do these like live streams when she's sleeping, just so that I don't like bother her like sitting there. That's usually where she sits right there. So I don't want her to be like sitting there and I'm like talking for like 2 hours. Also, if you ever need anyone to help flesh out a concept or idea, I would love to help out. I appreciate it very much. Yeah, definitely. Will probably talk more about some ideas on these streams and ask viewers for sort of help to flesh out some of these ideas. Yeah, this is definitely one of the longer streams I've done. I did a stream that was like 4 or 5 hours one time, though. It was a while ago, though. So chicken poop. This is a question I've always asked, and I know you're gonna probably play coy about how old is chicken poop. Like when you say test, do you mean college test, high school test? You say you're gonna go bald in 20 years, so I'm guessing you're either in high school or college. I've always wondered because you hide behind the chicken poop moniker. I don't know how old you are. It's kind of funny. I always assume everyone's like my age, but then I realize I have a lot of younger viewers and a lot of older viewers than I would expect. Bruh, I told my dad what you said about the state of work most actors in Chicago would expect. We were watching Chicago Fire this morning. That's funny. You gotta study, man, though. Chicken poop, you gotta study. I always sucked at tests. Tests are not my no bueno. You're 24, so you're like my age. I just wonder, like, I don't know, the composite of my viewers. I know I have, like, a lot of younger, like, 12, 13, 14 people who are, like, growing up into this movement. Oh, you don't even know how old I am. Take a guess. Take a guess. Aim by frame. Guess how old I am. Gage, how's it going, man? This man does a great performance in a movie called Seventh. Gage Clift. It's called Seventh. It's on the RC Films channel, YouTube channel. Great movie. It's probably in my top 5 favorite folk films. So, also great in Not So Amazing. Also just released a short film. Check out his channel. I don't know. My age is kind of vague, but it's best that way. So on some platforms I used to show a lot of myself, but I've started to kind of show less and less of myself. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I get it. I wasn't like asking you to like out yourself. I was like you show a picture of your face or anything. I just thought it was kind of funny. I always like, you joked one time when we were on one of these streams that you were like 12 years old, and I was like pretty sure you're not. Could be wrong though. I think one of the streams I said something and you're like, if only I wasn't 10 years old or something, and I was like, you're not 10 years old, chicken poop, come on. But yeah, I understand the anonymity. It's powerful on YouTube, especially if you haven't broken the genie, and let it out. Excited for my new movie. Thanks, man. I appreciate it. I really appreciate it. It's gonna be interesting. Much different than my other movies I've done. Much different than other movies I've done. Definitely going to be my most, what's the wording? Relaxed? It's a very relaxed film. Very, very fun to make. I had a good time making it. By the way, have the supply chain slowdowns messed up with your output at all lately? When you say supply chain slowdowns, what do you mean? Are you meaning just like, I don't know what you mean there, Zachary. I think I sort of understand what you're saying, but like, if you're saying like, has COVID slowed me down? Like, of course it has. I mean, it's slowed everyone down, and it's made things much more complicated. If you're saying something else, I don't know what you're talking about. Maybe just rephrase the question. But yeah, Gage is making some great movies. Seventh was great. Acting in that one. I love to see what you and because I think you haven't seen Long Con yet, Gage, right? Or Chlorine, I don't think. I'd love to see what you think about those. Hey, Dan, I gotta head out. It was a fun stream. Thanks for answering my questions, man. I'll see you later. Thanks, Chicken Poop. Have a good one, man. You're the best. I don't think that it really affects me too much about all that stuff, just because I don't really order new stuff to get for gear. Like, I'm not like a gearhead or anything like that, so most of my stuff is just like we film it, we do it, we release it. I'm very different than a lot of indie filmmakers in that way. A lot of indie filmmakers spend a ton of time on the pre-pro, buying stuff, paying all this stuff, and for me, I'm very like, let's shoot it, let's release it. So the chain really, the only one that was kind of slow was because of Long Con. I guess you've seen only pure cinema. In my opinion, if you like the way I like to do it in paths. So you have two sort of paths. There are three sort of paths. You have Sheepeater, Long Con, Chlorine. In my opinion, if you liked pure cinema, see, it's the least like my other work. So Chlorine is much more a naturalistic crime drama. So it's more natural, more about like sort of like the character interactions. So that's that. Sheepeater is a surrealist horror comedy with some very natural and relatable perspective to the world we live in right now with COVID and being in lockdown. That's that kind of film. And then you have Long Con, which is probably the least naturalistic of the three, or I wouldn't say the least. It's definitely more natural than Sheepeater, but it's the most high concept. It's the most thrilling film. It's the most engaging film of the three. So I think there's three different paths, and whatever one works best for you is the one I would take. Whatever feels most to your taste. I'm waiting on $800 worth of photo gear I ordered last month. Oh no, that sucks. That's a lot of gear to be waiting on. So in my opinion, that's the path of any of my films, is kind of like just figuring out what works best. I think Chlorine and Long Con are most similar. Sheepeater's probably the most different. It just comes down to what's your preference, what's your poison, what do you like to watch. For me, Sheepeater is my favorite film. It's my most personal film, but that's for my own reasons, if that makes sense. The only major studio release I'm excited for is No Time to Die, but apparently even Amazon is thinking about buying MGM for $9 billion. Holy moly, man! Holy moly! I wish I could think about all that studio stuff. I don't really think about it. Oh, did you see myself hit myself with this cap on the face? No one will ever assume I was a juggler. Oh, okay. Even if Amazon buys MGM, No Time to Die will still have a theatrical release. I assumed so. I personally think the idea that Hollywood has sparks of creativity left, and after that, all the passion projects will be found in folk filmmaking. Yeah, I think that I feel like we're just seeing the same stuff with Hollywood, like the same recycled stuff. And I'm not saying there aren't some good Hollywood films out there. There are. I mean, Tenet was pretty cool. It's just I'm getting kind of bored of the Hollywood shtick. I don't want to spoil anything. I got to see the trailer for one other folk filmmaker's movie that's going to be coming out, and I won't say when. I hope they're not going to be mad if I say this. I'm not going to even say who, what, where, when, why. But I basically saw a trailer for another folk filmmaker film, and it was really cool looking. Like, it looked really cool. Like, I basically begged them to watch the trailer, and then they sent it to me. And then I was like, please, I just can't wait to see this. So, and perhaps one of my movies will be in this movie, like as a background movie. Could be kind of cool. So, I won't spoil it, but I'm so hyped for the folk filmmaking movement. I know. I even got to read a little bit of Cody Clark's Ramekins 2 script. So if you've seen Ramekin, I think Ramekins 2 looks even to be better than Ramekin. Just from the script I was given. Again, it was only 13 pages, so I don't. It's like Hollywood is just a car factory for movies. Just make it as fast as possible, ship it out solely for the sake of profit. Yeah. I think that the problem we're running into right now with all these Hollywood films is that we're just seeing, like you said, like just a factory seal, like, oh, here's another film, another film, another film, another film. And they don't mean anything. Like a film like Sheepeater might not be perfect, might not be the best film ever, you know, might be flawed, but like you could at least tell that it was by a voice who is unique and by myself. Like no one else could have made Sheepeater but me. Like it was just such a unique and personal film to me that I was the only one who could make that. Same for Cody with Ramekin or any of these films, you know, Doom Productions with House. You know, you can only make these very intimate, personal sort of style films if you have an intimate and personal perspective. And I think it's something we've really truly lost in the last maybe 25 years of Hollywood. There was a point where Hollywood, man, you was putting out personal, deep, connective works. And now it's like, here's the next goofy comedy or big blockbuster, and it's like, it's not that there's anything wrong with those films. It's just that people are craving more, deeper content. And this happens every generation. You have Hollywood making all the westerns, and all they could do is put out like dozens and dozens of westerns. And then the whole Hollywood system collapsed, and then you had the new Hollywood movement that sort of took over and sort of changed the way that this system worked. So I think you have to look at it from the perspective of things will always change, and when things become too stylized, there will be a sort of rebellion, a naturalist rebellion against that to make more beautiful, personal works. And then there will be a response to that to make more crazy, artistic, stylistic work. It's a yin and yang. It's a swaying pendulum, and it always keeps swaying back and forth. And right now we're on the big sway of Hollywood making all these crazy, expensive, bloated films, and it's gonna slowly sway back to the personal and more deeply emotional films. And I think you're already starting to see that with guys like Joel Haver. I mean, a film like Pretend That You Love Me or Island only comes around once in a generation, or twice in a generation. When I saw Island, again, Pretend You Love Me is great. When I saw Island, like I literally cried at the end of the film because I was like, this is the new. I know this is a quote, a great film, Videodrome. This is the new Flesh, basically. This is the new thing. Like I just knew it before my eyes. This was before he had any followers, any success. I just knew this was the new thing, and it was something to behold. So like I don't know. I really, really, really feel that this folk filmmaking is going to take off in the next few years, and I have every intention to follow through with folk filmmaking and make it the best it possibly can. And I have giant projects connecting the folk filmmakers together that are in the works that is going to change the way this is done, and we're going to get more professional, more quality. We're going to get better and better at what we do. And I don't know. I see stuff like the folk filmmaking movement, like, uh, yeah, I don't know. I just see stuff like what Joel put out with Island, and what I was able to put out with Chlorine, Sheepeater, and Long Con, and what Cody was able to put out with Strummer and Shredder, and I just see that, and I think that there's so much beauty to behold within those type of films. And obviously, there are, duds in the folk filmmaking movement, and there's bad movies and stuff, but I think that the true beauty is that it's like a bargain bin. You can find some hidden gems amongst a bunch of films that are, sort of new and may not be perfect, but it's just so much fun to find that kind of stuff. Yeah, it's just... Yeah, exactly. The Shining was something that was an incredibly personal film to Kubrick. And you can tell just by the way it's done, and it's just no one cares anymore. No one cares anymore about making good films in Hollywood. There's always going to be that lone voice in Hollywood that's very creative, like a Nolan or a Tarantino that's still putting out engaging work. But for everyone that's like that, there's 100 to 1,000 people that are making terrible, generic, reductive work that just doesn't make people happy. So, I don't know. I know my films aren't perfect. I know I'm not perfect. I know we're going to make movies that are going to fail and not be as good as the other ones. But I'm okay with that. I'm okay with failing. I'm okay with being not perfect, because I know the work we're going to put out in the next year or two is going to become classic for a different generation. Whether it be for this generation, the following generation, whatever. I think the folk filmmaking, the next 10 years, I give ourselves a decade from here, 2021, to, or like 2020 to 2021 era to 2030. That, like, those 10 years, roughly. I give ourselves that time as the decade to really put out fantastic quality stuff. So... And end of rant, but yeah, it's gonna happen. I believe in it, and it's a lot easier to believe in that when you have people like Joel Haver on your side, someone who's extremely successful already and has proven that this can work. It's a lot easier to believe in that. Not saying that he's gonna drag us all over and help us all out, but even if he just becomes if he just helps watch some of the work and be a statement to prove that we're really good at what we're doing, it's great. So yeah, they're not getting any better. What size and lenses come to mind? I love the 35mm wide shot. Yeah, so 35mm wide shot and then medium close up are my favorite. I love the 35mm lens. Also, the 135mm lens is a great lens. That's underused. A good example of a franchise with great potential but run by greed is Saw. The stories were personal, interesting, and engaging, then lost literally all of it through the later films. Yeah. There are so many good different movies that Hollywood recycles, but the thing is they don't get any better. Yeah, I would agree. Well, guys, I would love to keep going, but I do need to help my wife get to work today. I need to make a little bit of lunch, dinner. So I'm going to let you guys go, but this was an amazing stream. If you guys could, please, there's a link tagged up at the top. If you haven't seen our latest video, it's called Practical Advice on Becoming a Good Filmmaker. Please check it out. Just share it. Comment, and share it somewhere. So Literally just take the link, share it on your Facebook, share it on your Twitter, wherever you share your socials. Share it somewhere, like and comment on it. We're trying to get the video to 1,000 views. It's almost halfway there, a little bit more than halfway there. We're trying to make each video we do a little bit more successful, hopefully get more people out to see our content, because we're really trying to grow 92 Films in 2021. So the goal is hopefully we'll be at like 10,000 subscribers when we go into next year. So if you guys can, it would be really, really helpful if you guys could share, like, and comment. I really, really appreciate everyone. It's a quick 6-minute video. Check it out. It is linked up top, or you can just check out the channel. It's the last video we posted. So thank you so much. And I want to just say thanks to Gage, Dan, Phantom Films, that one character, Brian Spencer, Aim by Frame, Zachary, Antle, Chicken Poop, Andrew, Calvin, Neil Cotter. Thank you guys. Dr. Oligan, thank you so much. This was a great stream. You guys are great. Stay awesome. I will be back with a new video perhaps on Monday, 24th. So, have a good one. Peace out.